This is me, Courtney Danielle Pierce. I was born on April 8, 1988 at St. Francis Hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My parents are Don and Vicki Pierce. This is my dad, Donald Boyer Pierce. He was born on May 19, 1964 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His parents were Betty Frances Boyer and Charles Edward Pierce, Jr. This is my grandmother, Betty Frances Pierce. She was born in 1925. Her father was William Frank Boyer, and her mother was Vivian Dixie Randolph. She passed away on April 14, 2001. My grandmother married my granddad, Charles Edward Pierce, Jr., on December 22, 1943. They had 4 children, all boys. My granddad was born on April 13, 1925 in Matoka, West Virginia. He passed away on March 27, 2007. This is the house that we moved into shortly after I was born. This is what it looks like now. This is where we still live today. This is the house that my dad grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is a picture of the house where my grandmother lived in Purcell, Oklahoma. This is an article from the Tulsa World that talks about all of the members of my grandmother's side of the family who were in different wars. William Chris Boyer, my great-great-grandfather, enlisted in the Civil War in 1864. After the war, he moved to Indian Territory and became a U.S. Marshal. Then he moved to Purcell, Oklahoma and became a jailer. My great-grandfather, Frank Boyer, enlisted in the Army in 1917 at the age of 29 to fight in World War I. He was also a firefighter, and as this picture shows here, they used to use horse-drawn fire engines. My granddad, Charles Edward Pierce, Jr., was 16 when he lied about his age to enlist in the Navy. His parents didn't want him working in the coal mines in West Virginia, so they agreed to sign his papers saying he was 17. He was aboard the USS Wasp during World War II when it was sunk on September 14, 1942 in the Battle of Guadalcanal. He was in the water for 13 hours before being rescued. After his rescue, he became a bombardier and was stationed at the naval base in Lexington, Oklahoma, where he met my grandmother, Betty. My great-uncle, Chris Boyer, was a member of the Navy as well and fought during the Korean War. After his return, he was killed in a car accident. My uncle, Charles Edward Pierce III, was a member of the Marines and fought in Vietnam during the Battle of Quezon. The most recent member of our family to join the military is my cousin Trevor Pierce. This summer he will be leaving for basic training to join the Army. Not only do I have several family members who went to war, but I also have quite a few who were in law enforcement. My dad, Don Pierce, joined the Tulsa Police Department in 1986. He worked as a field officer and also worked as a canine officer. During his time on the police department, he was given the Medal of Honor for shielding patrons of a local hotel from a suicidal gunman. He just retired in May of 2014. My uncle, Ed Pierce, who was the Marine who served during Vietnam, also was a member of the Tulsa Police Department. When he retired, he was a sergeant on the force. My Aunt Lynn, my dad's sister-in-law, was also a member of the Tulsa Police Department. When she retired, she was a major for the department. Ed and Lynn's son, Charles Edward Pierce IV, my cousin, was also a member of the Tulsa Police Department for a little while. He now works for the DEA. Their daughter, Jeannie Pierce McKenzie, also my cousin, works for the Tulsa Police Department as well. She worked as a field officer for a little while before going to work for the Child Crisis Department. Jeannie's husband, Andrew McKenzie, is a corporal for the Tulsa Police Department. My uncle and my dad's brother, Chris Pierce, works for the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. Another of my dad's brothers and my uncle, Randy Pierce, also works for the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. On May 1, 1998, he was shot 4 times while serving a warrant. He received the Purple Heart after being shot. Randy's daughter and my cousin, Taylor Pierce, quite possibly saved his life that day when he got shot. When she got in the car that morning, she asked him if he had his bulletproof vest on, and when he didn't, she made him put it on. Another large part of my family's history is our Native American heritage. We are part of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. It was part of a larger tribe of Potawatomi until they started breaking into smaller bands. My great-great-grandmother, Annie Bertrand Clarity Boyer, was a quarter Potawatomi, making me 1/32. When the new roles were signed for our band, my great-great-grandmother was 26th on them. Our band is out of Shawnee, Oklahoma. These pictures are of my grandmother and her sister, Annie Christine Boyer McConnell, who passed away in 2006, and her brother, Donald Herman Boyer, who my dad is named after. Another event in the world that had some impact on our family was the Oklahoma City bombing. My grandmother's brother, Donald Boyer, and my great-uncle worked downtown in Oklahoma City at the time of the bombing. He was working for Oklahoma Natural Gas and actually helped to shut off the gas to the Murrah Federal Building. This picture is of my great-grandmother and my grandmother's mother, Vivian Dixie Randolph Boyer. This is a birthday card that my great-grandmother Vivian received from Nancy and Ronald Reagan while they were in the White House, and also a compact of her. This is our family farm that my grandpa bought between 1974 and 1976. It is in Bristow, Oklahoma. These are pictures of my grandmother's Bible that I was given after she passed away, and all of the different things that she wrote and kept inside of it.